right? I mean, the guy's been on television forever. But
I really wonder, do you have thoughts on what he genuinely believes?
that's the question.
I have no idea.
Well, that was my question. I was going to say, do you think that, did we watch a master manipulator, or did he just get lucky that his personality, like, totally works right now? You know, like, that everything is lined up for you to be the guy that says, you know, you should grab chicks by the pussy, and everybody goes, that's locker room talk.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's the perfect time for him, combined with a great manipulation. Here's the thing: if you didn't have people struggling so hard, if you didn't have this quote-unquote recovery all going to the top 1%, people wouldn't have gotten behind this. You needed a populace that is furious and struggling and miserable to get behind this.
Isn't that weird? A populace that is furious and struggling and miserable wants to get behind a dude who's a billionaire who's probably fucked over a ton of people to get there. I mean, the whole thing is like, I mean, how much tooth, fang, and claw competition in business has that guy been involved in? Probably a fuckload, right?
Oh, it sounds like every deal he's ever signed, he reneges on like half of it. Like,
he's hilarious. Like when they were talking to him about, during the debates when Hillary brought up the taxes and him not paying taxes, he goes, "It's because I'm smart."
Yeah.
Like, well, but
he got away with it.
But you know why he gets away with it? Because he goes, "Yeah, those laws shouldn't be there, but since they are, I'm not going to not use them. Of course, I'm going to use them." He goes, "But let's take them out. Let's take those laws out."
Yeah, people wanted someone who just said, "Fuck this system," which it's hilarious that you then get behind a billionaire as the guy who's going to say "fuck the system."
I know, but he's also a populist. That's what's weird. Like, he likes to be popular, you know.
Yeah.
And you have a unique opportunity with a guy like him, where I don't think he's going to be as influenced by other people as we've had presidents before. You know, we've had presidents before that get into office and we're like, "Oh my God, this guy's not doing anything he said." Right? We don't even have to say who they are, right?
Right.
Obama. But once, all of them, right? I mean, who doesn't?
All of them, yeah.
All of them,
all.
right? But this is the first time a guy has gotten in that, like, the party itself doesn't even want him in there. I mean, they were trying to force him out. Like, everybody didn't want him in. Everybody was saying, "There's no way we could let this guy in."
No, basically the Republicans tried to rig their primary to beat Trump and failed. The Democrats rigged their primary and succeeded. That was the only difference.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Like, they fucked over that Bernie Sanders guy.
Oh man, on every level. I covered this on Redacted, and I like endlessly. I just couldn't get enough of it. It was like on every. It was like voter suppression, closing polling places. You know, exit polls aren't matching up. Just media manipulation. 23 times as much coverage, like I was saying, for Trump, and like 10 times as much coverage for Hillary as Bernie Sanders. It was just like on every level they tried to force through their candidate.
He would have been great.
Yeah.
I think Bernie would have been really interesting. I think Bernie running against Trump would have been way less vulnerable. He had way less skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
He was pretty much an open book.
He also didn't. He had immense, like, compared to Hillary, immense favorability numbers, whereas Hillary just had crazy unfavorability numbers.
Well, he represented character to us.
30 years of saying 40 years of saying the same stuff, whereas Hillary, from week to week, you didn't know what she stood for.
Yeah, and even the way he looks. You know, like, he represents character. He represents this you know, disheveled, really smart guy with his glasses and his jacket, and he's not trying to look good at all. He doesn't have any orange makeup on. Yeah. He's like really the polar opposite of Trump.
I would love a guy that cares more about getting shit done than his hair. I would love that.
Well, he also seems to care about people. Whether you agree with him or not, I think that guy genuinely cares about people. Hopefully I'm not getting bullshitted, you know, because he is a politician.
Well, here's how you know a little something, is you don't spend 30 years in government and not get rich unless you've got other goals.
Yeah.
It's like everybody who's been in Congress that long is a multimillionaire. He's not.
Well, he's from Vermont, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they're all hippies up there. They're all hippies and farmers. Vermont is weird.
I had Ben Cohen on a bunch. Ben and Jerry, they're Vermont too.
Dude, it's so weird. It's great. Don't get me wrong. It is a great place. Like Burlington, that place is amazing. I did a gig up there once. I was like, wow, this is like a little frozen paradise up here.
Yeah.
Like this little small, cool town of like hippie people.
And they always go against whatever's going on around them.
Like, how do you get like a group? Is it like, it has to be a university town. It's the only way you get like a group of liberals in a mountain. right?
Well, yeah, and then I mean, I guess there's universities there too, but in some of these southern towns, it's just like they all flee to one city. It's like Asheville, North Carolina. They're just
Right.
like, we gotta get together.
But that's the university too. That's where Duncan went to school.
Yeah.
Asheville's amazing.
I love it. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's such a great little town.
The best.
And like the people are so cool. It's like you guys are like, if you took like 30,000 of the best people from Austin and brought them to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like that's what Asheville
Yeah.
is. It's like, what are you guys doing here? Like this is weird. Really cool bars and everybody walks around.
I played there like 6 months ago, and I told them, I was like, you guys should build a wall around this city. Because
I know,
it's
right?
great here.
Yeah, that's the area outside of it. It's very strange. There's still parts of this country that haven't recovered from the Civil War.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
I
a
know.
joke.
No, I know.
There's parts of this country where you're driving through, and you'll run into small towns that still have like the vague echoes of the Civil War.
Dude, I grew up in that. Richmond, Virginia. I'm named after Robert E. Lee.
Oh my God! Are you really?
Yeah, my high school. My high school was the Confederate Rebels.
Holy
mascot.
shit! Did you guys have a rebel flag?
Rebel flag. We had a rebel flag the first year I was there. Then they finally decided that it was offensive, so they took away the flag, but kept the rebel soldier as the mascot.
Oh my God! Wow. Dude,
Yeah.
you drinking whiskey? What is that?
It's just water.
It's water in like a flask.
Yep.
What are they doing? They're trying to get crafty?
I'm getting crafts.
So it's Fred. My name is Fred. Drink my water. It came off my breast. What is Fred water? That's
how
Fred
you,
water?
That's how you advertise a drink now. You just change the shape of the bottle.
Yeah, he made it. He made me talk about it. Why is his name on the front of the bottle? Isn't that water? Shouldn't it just say water, you fuck? Why does it say Fred? Fred is in giant letters, and underneath it in tiny letters it says water.
Water.
Look at that. That's ridiculous, Fred. But you got me. Here I am. I'm talking about it.
You won.
He won.
That's all
Fucking
marketing
Fred won.
is.
Were you surprised when they pulled the Confederate flag off the General Lee? Did that freak you out?
Off the General Lee.
Yeah.
Dude, I had the Dukes of Hazzard bed sheets.
I think I had the poster.
Dukes of
I think I
Hazzard
had the
bed
poster.
sheets.
When they pulled the that off TV land, I was like, whoa.
Dude, it is a different history. Growing up in like Richmond, Virginia, I was 12 before anyone mentioned we lost the Civil War. I was like, wait, we didn't win?
So you knew there was a Civil War, but you didn't know that the South lost?
No, because it's
wow.
talked about like almost like a victory, because they talk about it like, oh, the grand old times of Civil War and stuff like that.
Do they really?
Yeah, and I was like, wait, we lost? What? All the Monument Avenue in Richmond, Virginia is basically all Civil War quote unquote heroes, meaning the losers.
Wow. It's crazy that that was so recent. That 1865 was so recent.
Dude, 100 years ago there was like slavery, like
Pretty much. Pretty close. 1916, I mean, there's probably there's slavery now.
It's not been that long. Well, yeah.
Yeah, there is slavery. But that's the craziest thing. There's not slavery now necessarily in America, but there's more slaves in the world now because there's more people.
Well,
in the
also
world.
there are more black people in prison right now than there were slaves during the Civil War. We imprison so many people, and those people are largely, a lot of them are forced to labor for like, a nickel an hour or whatever.
Yes.
So because we have a stipulation in the Constitution that you can have slavery as long as they're in prison.
Yeah, we've been talking about that a
Yeah.
lot. There's a documentary about that on Netflix.
13th.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
How is it?
It's great.
I keep hearing it.
Yeah.
I get real close to it and I go, God damn it, I haven't caught up on Narcos. I'd like to find out about real shit, but
I got like one episode left of Narcos.
I need to be entertained. I want to
think-
watch Westworld. Sorry.
It's not looking good for Escobar. It's not looking good, man. I'm worried. What's
I'm
going to
worried
happen?
too, but he is the star of the show, so hopefully he'll pull through.
Well, how are you going to have another season?
Just seems like he's digging a hole for himself that he's just not going to come out of.
he should start treating people better.
I mean, you keep killing people, eventually someone's going to kill you. I mean, that's just what I think.
If he just said thank you a little more, please and thank you.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane that you can have a minimum wage, except when you've trapped someone
Yeah.
for a crime. Then not only do they have to pay for that crime by being incarcerated, but then they have to work and make pennies.
Dude, it's such a game. Like another great book by Taibbi is The Divide talks about this. It's like
To Matt Taibbi's book?
Matt Taibbi.
Love that guy.
The cops just run around, look for mostly black people standing on the corner, sometimes in front of their own apartment, charge them for loitering or something, and then they take a plea deal because they're told like, hey, do you want months of a trial where you could spend a year in jail, or do you want to take this plea deal and just have a tiny charge? And so they all take the plea deal. So now they're in the system, and it's just designed. It's just railroading.
This is so crazy. it's so crazy that people have made an industry off of, like, there's money to be made from keeping people locked up. It's just the way that we've allowed that to happen. It's so shameful because it's sort of just everybody sort of woke up as adults and was like, what? How many private prisons are there? Wait a minute, how many people are in jail? Wait a minute, what percentage of who or what?
We're 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's prisoners. We have way more prisoners than any country.
God, and it's all like it's going on without us looking, you know? I mean, because not obviously for violent crimes, but let's just talk about the non-violent ones.
Yeah.
Isn't that like 50%?
Yeah, it's a huge. Most people in prison are nonviolent. Yeah.
So 50% of them are locked up in jail for something nonviolent, and then what percentage of those are drugs?
I don't know, but it's
So
it's
it's
a lot.
a
A lot of this
high
has to do with
percentage.
a lot of this has to do with the drug war.
Yeah, I mean, I think like theft and obviously all the violent crimes, but all those things that sort of rationalizes you need some sort of punishment. But has anybody ever even proven that prison is effective?
No, that's not at all. Because here's the thing: is it destroys most people's lives. They can't get a job when they get out. Their family's been broken up. Their community's been broken up. So it's like you get out, and then how do you put things together? So it doesn't help people. It doesn't help them get to a regular, upstanding citizen level.
And a lot of people it institutionalizes.
Yeah, if you're in long enough.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: the big question is like, what could be done that's better? What does that say, Jamie? What are you putting up?
Well, first of all, if it's a non-violent, I think you shouldn't you shouldn't be in jail.
Yeah, that one sticking out. What do you think it is?
What different offenses? Is that what it is?
Oh, is that drugs?
Yeah, those are drug charges.
Well, so the
The
tall one.
giant one is the drug
Yeah,
charges?
those people
Oh
are
my
incarcerated
God.
for drug offenses.
See, that's crazy.
46%.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Look at those numbers. The only thing. Scroll down a little more. The only thing even above 10% is drugs. Okay, and weapons.
Look, here's the thing. You're not stopping people from selling drugs, obviously. Plus, there's a bunch of other drugs that are available legally with prescriptions. You need to stop this illegal drug thing. You need to stop telling grown adults what they can or can't do. Keep it away from children. Make strict laws about the age restrictions. Put a lot of money into education and stop putting people in fucking cages for doing things they want to do, like coke.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to do coke, let them go do coke. What do you give a fuck? They can go drink whiskey until they die, and everybody's fine with that.
And then people go, oh, well, they do coke and they commit crimes. Well, then arrest them for the crimes.
Exactly.
You don't arrest them for the coke.
Alcohol is a huge factor in crimes. I mean,
Yeah.
how many people have committed horrible crimes because they've been drunk?
Yeah. And fights and beating the shit out of people. That's all
Dude.
alcohol.
I was around a gang of drunk people last night, stone sober. It's not a good time.
Not a good time.
Not a good time, man. People they get fucking crazy. Especially, I would hate to be a woman.
And
At a bar?
Oh yeah, that's
Ugh.
fucking sleazeballs. And here's the thing: I love drinking. I love my whiskey. I'm a fucking big fan. But if you can't handle it,
You want to drink right now?
no, I gotta drive.
Pussy!
I gotta drive somewhere.
Have a little drinky poo. Just one little sip of the good stuff. We got a little bit of Jack Daniels for you over here. Yeah, man, booze is a sketchy drug because I enjoy it, I like it, but ooh, is it for everybody? It's like there's a lot of things like that though. How come you can just go to a Chevrolet dealership and buy a Corvette? Do you know how to drive that thing? Do you know how to drive? I know you know how to hit your blinker. You know how to handle a 600 horsepower fucking demon ride? You could just buy that? Like these cars today, because of the horsepower wars, every year they're ramping up their speed, they're ramping up their handling, they're ramping up the braking, like the distance between, like 0 to 60 braking or 60 to 0. Those things are supercars now. And any regular kid, if you have enough money, they're like, what's a Corvette, like $50,000 or $60,000? If you can get that money together somehow and get that loan, you can have something that's insane.
Right.
You can just drive right into people and kill people. Like the responsibility, like having a big giant truck, the responsibility of driving that thing. Like all those things are dangerous.
Yeah.
And we allow people to do it.
And I mean, yeah, we accept that there's a certain level of harm or death for things that we want as freedoms.
Yeah.
And that should go through a lot of things. It should go through with drugs. It's like there's a certain level of harm or death people might do to themselves, and if they start doing it to others, we arrest them for that.
One of the things I was thinking of when I brought up the car things, I wanted to ask you how you feel about this oncoming onset of autonomous cars. 'Cause that's happening, man.
So here, I talked about this last night in my stand-up. So Uber has now put self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. They're trying it out. And this is a massive employer in our country, is transportation. It's huge. And those are going away. Those jobs are going to go away soon. And I think that's fine, because what that should do, if we were fucking rational beings, is that time and money savings should go to people. It should go to all of us. We should all be, if we hate our job, we should be working less, because technology can handle it now. Instead, everybody's just working their goddamn asses off at jobs they hate, because all of that time and savings is going to the elites that run these corporations. It's not going to the people. People are working themselves to death to feed a family. It's completely nonsense.
But how does that have to do with the Uber thing, though?
Well, because transportation is a major employer.
Right.
In
What
this
is
country.
it? Isn't it like 40-something% of all white men over a certain age work in some sort of an industry where they drive a vehicle?
I am not sure, but
I might have made that up.
I
How
know.
about that? How about that?
I
might
like
have made
it.
that up.
I'll use your
Feels
made-up
good.
fact.
Yeah, just say,
I'm a fan.
according to Joe Rogan, and people will go, oh, and they'll just raise their eyebrows. Oh, the Fear Factor guy's got opinions on driving.
But no, I think self-driving cars should be great. They're going to get better and better, and then they'll...
Right, but when you say like that, the money is going away. Like, it's not really, right? Because someone has to make those cars, someone has to maintain those cars, someone has to run the Uber software. It's just the driver aspect of it is going away. The human labor part is going away.
Right, but we're making all those cars to begin with.
Right, but if it's way safer and people's lives are saved over people having jobs that are not, like, a lot of fun anyway, like, shouldn't that person, like, for technological progress, when you look at the future of our culture,
Yeah.
as much as I love automobiles, I love them. I love engineering. I'm a giant fan of auto engineering. But they're going to go away.
Yeah.
We're going to have autonomous vehicles. It's
Yeah.
going to happen just
Yeah.
like everybody has a cell phone. It's almost...
You can't fight it.
The
Yeah.
hard thing is going to be getting a license to drive a car on your own without any sort of
That'll
electronic
be
control.
sad. I didn't even think of that. That'll be
It's going to
sad,
happen, man. You're going to have like, if you have an old Corvette or something like that, you're going to have a license to drive that old Corvette with your shitty-ass drum brakes and skinny, fucked-up tires.
And people like to think, oh, no, the autonomous thing won't happen because, an autonomous car will kill someone, and then... It's like, well, yeah, but they don't need to be better. They don't need to be the best ever. They just need to be better than humans.
Yeah, well,
and they're going to be better
turns
than
out-
humans quickly.
Yeah, like they're going to be instantly better than humans. And by the way, with all those sensors that they could put on those things, have you ever seen how they...
Analysis complete. Planetary annihilation now possible. Select planet to annihilate. Planetary target selected. Arrival at Red Bio. Celestial body's orbit altered. Celestial impact imminent. Terrestrial plane annihilated. System is now under your control. Thank you for not dying. You have annihilated your enemies. System is now under your control. Congratulations, Commander.
Respond. They're really good at responding to like cars swerving at them. They hit the brakes, and if they're all doing that, as long as the code is good and the machinery's good and nothing gets fucked up, that's the big thing. If it gets fucked up, will it have enough checkpoints? Like, will it have to be able to do an assessment of itself and know whether or not it should be driving?
Although here's the big question: is it'll eventually get to a point where it's taking away our freedom in a lot of ways, because these things are going to drive the speed limit, and it's going to drive us fucking nuts.
That's true.
You're gonna be sitting there, and it's going to become illegal to go above the speed limit because self-driving cars will go the speed limit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to follow the rules.
It's gonna be awful.
We'll just have to find some Russian dude who knows a guy with a chip. He's gonna
yeah.
hot rod out your shit.
Yeah. I got one of those. I got one of the bots that breaks the law. I got one of the criminal bots.
I mean, but if we're going to progress and go from here to some new state of technological excellence, which we undoubtedly will if we stay alive, right? I mean, every civilization, every culture in this country, as far as we've been measuring it, just keeps getting better and better and better at figuring things out. More and more efficient.
Yeah.
Although we're polluting more and damaging the earth more, our capabilities keep getting more and more powerful. There's going to come a point in time, I think, where it was inevitable that people had to stop powering machines with their hands.
Right.
Like, we should probably get out of that as quick as we can and concentrate on using our brains. Like, and like the idea that the person who drives the car can only drive the car, that's kind of crazy. I used to drive cars. Did you ever drive cars before?
Yeah.
I drove limos. So I used to drive and deliver newspapers. So I've been in driving jobs, right? And I can do other stuff. Like
I can do other stuff.
People can do other